Whose house are we in today? Well, in true Lloyd Grossman style, there are a few clues to be had. The Queen Mother Memorial Cup winner 2010, the big Sheffield staying competition. Obviously a Sunderland connection, the UK Festival of Greyhound Racing. Back to Sheffield for the sprint. Sunderland, the big one, the William Hill Grand Prix. Well, if I tell you that jacket was won by the greyhound England Expects. Well, England might expect, but it was a Scotsman who delivered. We're at the Alnwick Kennels of Newcastle trainer Jimmy Wright. Well, Jimmy, after a long time working behind the scenes a little bit, you've had a trainer's licence for about 4 years in your own right now, but it was another sport that you first started off in.
Yeah, I played football with Leeds United. I went there as a youngster, 15, 16-year-old. I was down there for, I think it was 4 seasons. Went back to Scotland to play for St Johnstone, 2 or 3 years there, and then I moved to Australia.
What were you, dynamic midfielder?
I was a winger, an old-fashioned winger. Wasn't very fast, couldn't tackle, but I could play a bit, like, you know.
Excellent. But greyhounds has always played a role, it's always been in your life.
I was brought up with greyhounds when I was 5, 6-year-old. My father, and then the parent tracks in Scotland, and took it from there, like, you know. Had my own greyhound when I was 12-year-old. And
when did greyhound racing become a fuller part of your life, your job, as it were?
Well, when I stopped playing football, I had a few good dogs for Mark Keithley and Graham Hutt on the independents, and Graham Hutt decided to get his own licence, and I joined him.
So you went under rules, first of all, as the assistant to Graham, and then you had a spell with Mark Keithley.
I was down there a year with Haley Keithley and had a great time. I think we won the Ledger, the Total Gold Collar.
And this would be with the fantastic Roxholm girl?
Yeah, well, when Haley got her, she was only, I think she was 16, 17 months old, and after her first trial at Doncaster, we knew we had something special.
6, Droopy Shearer, the leader here by 3 lengths from the youngster in the field. Roxholm girl is going to try and reel it in. After these comes 2, Ballymac-Cule. After these, Shelbourne Star picking up ground, but a lot to do. And it's Roxholm girl going through with her effort at the 5th bend. It's Roxholm girl going on. She leads here and she's powering away. Shelbourne Star from out of the cloud, but too much to do. Roxholm girl wins by a street from Shelbourne Star in 2nd place. Droopy Shearer faded in 3rd.
She was probably the best dog I ever put a lead on, like, you know, because she had everything.
And then after a spell there, you returned to Graham and you had huge success.
Yeah, we won the Grand Prix with Go Ahead Hondo, the Northern Flat, Phone for Who.
Romford Car 2 goes on with Go Eddie Honda as they come round the final bend. In front again is Go Eddie Honda. Can Romford Car 2 respond? It's going to be Go Eddie Honda by a neck from Romford Car 2, and a photo needed for 3rd, Dramana Blue and Farlow Premier.
Found yourself now in Alnwick, just off the A1. Fantastic location. How did you end up here?
I was checking dogs out for Andrew Bell. And when I came down here, he says there are a side bit my kennel here if you want to start open racing here, so I decided to move down here when I left Graham. Graham was sort of getting out of the game at the time, and when I came down here, I started here with 14 dogs. I ended up with 14, I only had 4 when I first came down.
So was there a time when you wondered what you'd let yourself in for?
I was very lucky. Because when I came down here, I was only down here about 3 weeks, and I got Hurley's Hero, he was a dog, it was running A1 Newcastle, and when I stepped on up to 6 Bends, he was a revelation. He went on to Bellevue and won the Cock of the North. And about 6 weeks at the back of it, I got Crown Rover, and he went on and won the Grand Prix for me, which he was a brilliant dog. He could take Rover anywhere. When he did it right on the night and got in that hair, he took a bit of beating.
As they head down the far side for the final time, and Crown Rover still there for Jimmy Wright, and leading here, Lenson Joker's trying his heart out, but he's not making any impression. Bubbly Totty and Words and a Tuna next, and they come round the final bend, and it's Crown Rover that's made all. Crown Rover's going to win by a length and a half, picks up the William Hill Grand Prix, Crown Rover.
Yeah, I've had a lot of luck in the Grand Prix. I won it with Crown Rover in the following year with England Expects.
England Expects still with this lead of about a length to come up the home straight. It's England Expects who's going to win the WilliamHill.com Grand Prix by 2 lengths. He went Bush in second place, and back in third was Trap 6, kind of easy.
You made your reputation as an open race trainer, but around a year or so ago, you took the decision to step back from that a little bit.
It was just a financial thing, because at one time we used to fill our van 4 or 5 dogs, and we'd go to the one meeting with the 4 or 5 dogs. The dogs are not there now to do that, quality dogs. So to run up and down the country with one dog is just impossible, like with the fuel.
How many greyhounds do you have in the kennels at the moment?
We've usually 70, we're full at 70 and we're usually full all the time, like, you know.
And how many of those would be on the strength at any one time?
We've usually anything between 45 and 55 on the strength.
That's a high percentage.
Yeah, we've got an up-to-date scanning machine that after the dogs run, we scan them, and that we're picking all the little niggles up that we're being able to treat so they didn't come into something more major.
Do you feel that by keeping on top of it, that allows you to run the greyhounds more regularly?
Yeah, and it definitely helps on getting better performance out of the dogs week in and week out.
And it's a very impressive piece of kit. I suspect it didn't come too cheap.
No, it cost a few quid, but it's been well worth it, because we do help other trainers and it keeps our own strength, and especially if you're going open racing, if you're getting into a big final, we're onto our dogs the next morning right away.
What's your feeding regime like? Do you feed once, twice a day?
We feed twice a day. We give them a good breakfast, and then we feed them at 3 o'clock. But it's all top quality beef, and we feed them the best we can.
And what about exercising the greyhounds? Are you a big galloper?
Yeah, we've got a 300-yard gallop there that we mainly use for dogs coming back from injury, but we've got a field that the dogs run in every day, the free gallop every day.
And Newcastle has got a tremendous graded strength. Do you think it surprises some people when they send greyhounds there that how difficult it is?
I think that with Craig Dawson coming, we've got Harry Williams, Gary Carmichael, the strength is very, very strong because they are open race trainers.
But there's great rivalry between you as well.
Well, I want to be the top man at Newcastle, and there's a few of them want to be the top man as well, so we're striving, and I think it's good for the track, good for these top A1s on a Saturday night especially.